Hey everybody, Dave Gates here with Dakota Sportsman TV. 1969 Vietnam veteran, and I had the show out on the Pursuit Channel and the internet in Europe and Canada, and also on the Sportsman Channel. And I've been kind of waiting here. I've been working on a project now to help the veterans in the drug and alcohol rehab program down south of here at Hot Springs to get back into life, give them some skills and stuff. And I've been kind of waiting to go out and do a blog about the veteran situation until I had the factory going. But I'm not waiting any longer. We got to go ahead and we got to help this situation, try to slow down the suicide rate here. Now I have guys like Greg Gadsden, who's on Gary Sinisa's board of directors. He wants to go ahead and to talk also. We want to educate the American people about the veteran situation when they get back home from war. And why it's so hard for them to integrate back into society. And a lot of them end up in prison or end up on drugs and alcohol, and they just sink out of sight. Well, I talked to a friend of mine over and around Grand Junction, Colorado, who was a sniper in Afghanistan. His counselor was a Vietnam veteran. And he told him, he says, you need to understand you're in your third life. And once he explained it to me, it helped a lot. So to describe this situation to you, first life. In Mitchell, South Dakota, on a bowling league, working in a lumber yard and just chasing girls and dancing and drinking beer and having a high old time. And I came up on the draft, so I enlisted to get out of the draft. Oh, that was a real smart move, wasn't it? So anyway, I'm in the military and I go to Vietnam, I go to war. And that's my second life. So first life is young and innocent. Second life, I'm in war. Third life is when I come back to a country where everybody's in their first life and I'm in my third.
Yeah, one way or another, far as I can tell, every good soldier does time in hell. The lucky make it home, but we never escape.
Really is.
Get guilty sometimes.
The way that I ran around. But Jesus came into my life in 1983 and totally changed my outlook and everything. But in 2018, my PTSD came back. I buried it for 48 years. And never thought about it, and God brought it back. To be honest with you, I got mad at him. I said, what the hell did you bring this back for? I said, I really didn't need all this. And started to talk to him about it, and the reason he wants me to have this is to help. To be able to talk to the veterans who are sitting out here with the 45 sitting on your armchair, deciding whether you want to eat that 45 or not. And your family not understanding who you are anymore. And we're going to try to help you. And on top of it, we're going to try to educate the American public about who you are. And how to interact with you. To the point that who you are now in your third life and not being able to react to these people in their second. And they want you to, their first. They want you to come back to their first life. And how can you come back to a life that you left a long time ago? That life's dead to you. And you as veterans need to understand that. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. And I was talking to somebody this morning who was an alcoholic, been through the 12-step program. He's trying to get me to tell him about war, what it's like. And he wants to get a point of reference with me to help him understand me better. And we as veterans balk at that. Why do you need to understand who I am to understand me better? That's a little different, and we had a big discussion about that. And someday what we're going to do is him and I are going to sit down at a round table and maybe get Greg in on it or a few other people and just discuss this thing about how to get the American people and the veterans on the same page as much as possible. You're never going to get on the same page with a veteran. You just try to do the best you can. Not every veteran got hurt or damaged or scarred. It all depends on what your job was when you got over there, you're a grunt and whatever, you're having a fight. You know, Afghanistan was a totally different war than Vietnam. A lot of the guys in Vietnam, it was a job to them and they came home unscathed. And me, I was the only war that most of those guys ever saw. So they didn't want to know what my day was like. Someday I'll tell you about my job, but right now, for sake of time, I'm not going to get into that. Just say that I was the only war those guys ever saw. When I came in the door, they didn't want to talk to me. They shied away.
Far as I can tell, every good soldier does
when we got off
in
work,
hell. The lucky make it
that at
home,
night,
never
we'd be out
escape,
partying
get
with the
killed
guys, you know.
sometime.
I just sat in the corner because I had nobody to talk to. The one friend I had to talk to that would actually ask me about my day died in a helicopter crash, and I took the call on it. Tough day. It made it real. Worked to death so much that you start becoming callous to it. You became callous pretty quick. And all of a sudden, when your friend dies, all of a sudden it becomes real again. It was more real than I wanted it ever to be. So it's part of my life. It's part of who I am now. So there's nothing I can do about it. Except talk about it to a few select people who will understand and not talk to everybody about it because it still hurts. But anyway, we're going to carry on a discussion here. I'm going to call this good for today and go ahead and see if I can put this into some format and put it out on Vimeo for all you to get started. We're going to call it Operation VSAC, which Veteran Service and Assistance Coalition. We're going to make a coalition of people who mainly are veterans, some citizens who are concerned citizens like Greg, another friend of mine who was the alcoholic, 12-step guy, he's Greg also. But he wants to come in on this to be able to understand and to be able to bring a different perspective to us veterans, to be able to maybe try to meld this thing so that we as veterans can get back into life with some semblance of peace. Don't know if I really want to go any further today. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to call it. Well, guys, we'll talk to you later. Okay. I plan on doing probably one a week. All depends on the interest and where we go. Okay? Talk to you later. See you.
I'm a prisoner of war in the land of the free, treating those I love like the enemy. 'Cause I can't forget. No, I'll never forget. Wish I could forget, but I'll never forget. No, I'll never forget.